Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Robert Schmid, also known as Mr. IoT. I'm the Chief IoT Technologist for Deloitte with a deep passion for all things digital. This week on Coffee with Miss Connected and Mr. IoT, Kelsey and I are talking with Helena Lisachuck. Helena, you lead our global IoT practice and you're going to Barcelona next week. First of all, welcome. And second, tell us, what are you excited about? By the way, thank you for being around this late. I know it's kind of getting late where you are, so thanks for being around.
Oh, no worries. Thanks so much for inviting. This is always great to be on your show and have a pleasure of talking to Mr. IoT. And yes, I am incredibly excited about Barcelona plans. Many things to be excited about. You know, from the Internet of Rubber Ducks and special ducks that we made just for this event. I'm not sure which factory we used, but they are very cute and adorable, so come and see them. But also a lot of content pieces that we will be bringing to Barcelona, a lot of research, quite fundamental actually, and serious topics. Wonderful, wonderful clients and partners coming with us. But, you know, besides leading IoT practice globally, I'm also part of the program board for the IoT Solution World Congress. I've been doing that for a couple of years, and it's amazing to see how fast this event is growing, not just in terms of numbers, but in terms of quality and content and the type of people that attend. So we expect to reach close to 20,000 people there this year, and it started at 3.
That's great, Helena. So, you know, thinking about the event coming up and what you're excited for, how did you get into this? You know, what drove your passion into IoT, and how did you get started down this path where now you're the global IoT leader?
Well, you know, there was this one day I met Robert at the Edge in Amsterdam. We talked about experiments and sensors, and I was like, yeah, Robert, you're doing such a great job in the US. Maybe you need help in Europe. But and then of course it moved on from there. But really, I actually thought about this question myself: why I'm so passionate about IoT. And there are several reasons for it. I think I'm passionate about anything that's new and it's exciting. So somehow I'm drawn to it. And I'm also drawn to difficult things. And IoT normally is not an easy topic to kind of address, bring to the table, raise the awareness, and build a proper solution. But most importantly, I like collaboration. And IoT is kind of this, you know, I don't want to misuse the term ecosystem, but not a single player can succeed. So it drives really nice and meaningful partnerships. And it started first as kind of a partnership game, but now our clients, amazing clients, are becoming also our partners. And it's good. And it gives us a lot of energy, and it's very attractive.
So Helena, you talk about clients, and you said you're going to bring clients to Barcelona.
Yes.
Tell us about some clients that we don't know about yet. Tease us, just sort of like, you know, give us the early heads up. Something we haven't announced yet, but we're going to announce on Coffee with Miss Connected and Mr. IoT.
All right. Well, I will maybe talk about 2 things. And one is, it's not even published on the agenda of the Congress because it's so new. It's like a 1 week old. We are going to have a keynote panel on day 1. And the keynote panel will be on the topic of how can 5G deliver value to industrial players. So up until this point, you know, every time people hear 5G, they think, hey, this is like a telco topic. It's owned by telcos. Or it's connected car topic because that's how, you know, autonomous driving requires 5G. But what we are going to explore at this panel, together with Siemens and ABB and Vodafone and a great executive that used to be with IDC, Werner Turner, we're going to talk about what does it mean for industrial players. And it's going to be, I think it's going to be probably one of the most controversial panels at the event, because there are so many different points of view. from the point of, it will disrupt industries completely, and it will take countries to the next level towards, hey, this is just, it's going to be another flop as 4G. But it is an incredible technology. It opens up so many opportunities. And I believe there haven't been enough talk about what it can do for factories, for plants, for private networks. So that's one that's really interesting, and it's like 1 week old, and we already pulled it together because all of the companies I mentioned were super excited and super passionate about the topic. The other one it's actually a fundamental research we've done 2 months ago about Internet of Medical Things, and this is a new term. It's a official industry term. And the research was really looking at what's happening in medtech and what happens in life sciences, and what would be the trajectory of adoption of connected devices in the industry. And we will have authors of this research, a couple of PhDs with us that would be available for one-on-one debriefs with clients that are interested. But we will also have several demonstrators with us on the stand to kind of demonstrate the value of connected medical devices. But if I may say, our whole theme of the stand would be whimsical. And Robert, lots of credit goes to you, of course, for ingenuity and creativity. And it's going to be branded as the Internet of Ducks. So Deloitte is all going to be about Internet of Rubber Ducks, and we'll have a wellness corner for the workers that work at the rubber duck factory that may be using these medical devices. And so everything essentially will be kind of like this theme-based. And we made these beautiful, beautiful things, like little rubber duckies that our guests could take home.
That's quite a diverse set of things that you're going to cover in Barcelona. So very much looking forward to hearing how it all goes, and very interested, and a lot of folks will be interested in all of those different aspects of IoT. I'd love to learn a little bit more about the piece of work that you guys have done on the Internet of Medical Things, and something you said last question about your spirit of loving collaboration, right? So when you did the piece on Internet of Medical Things, what were the different considerations across all of the ecosystem players, right? So who's incentivized really to take advantage of some of these, given healthcare systems, physicians, patients? Who are you really targeting in this piece? And could you share a little bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. And Internet of Medical Things is, sorry, I hear echo. Internet of Medical Things is something that's very complex in terms of just imperfect market. So we have you have the patient that will ultimately benefit from better care, better cure, better diagnostics. At the same time, in most of the countries, patient is not the one who would be paying for it, right? So how do you kind of like change the whole system and incentives and insurance companies and provider base and the whole value-based care that everybody talks about? So the answer to this question would be a little bit different depending where you are and which system you follow. But one of the, and we explored basically all of the key ecosystem participants of care delivery and prevention and how the medical device categories are being used. It's a 55-page research, so there is a lot of stuff in it. But one of the most interesting findings was that while everybody, we did a survey and we talked to all of the major medtech companies and how they work and collaborate. We asked them about, do they believe 5 years from now most of the devices will be connected? The answer was yes. But when we asked the question, do you believe that medical professionals are ready to accept this kind of new future? The answer was only 29% are ready, which means there are 71 to actually transform and provide and prove the value. So some of the elements we are bringing to the Congress are more kind of proof points of value for the providers, because they are obviously the gatekeepers of care.
If you're just joining us, I'm Robert Schmid, the Chief IoT Technologist for Deloitte, and you're watching Coffee with Misconnected and Mr. IoT. Today, Kelsey and I are talking to Helena Lisachuck, and we're just in the deep conversation about what Helena and her team are bringing to Barcelona. By the way, if you can go to Barcelona. I just heard some rumors that Mind the Machines is getting canceled this year, so that's your last chance for a really awesome show. So go see them, and not just because of rubber ducks. By the way, if you got rubber ducks from us at LifeWorks, they were yellow. In Barcelona, they are green. I don't know why, but man, they are green. So I must be our color. Anyhow, Helena, I want to talk to you a little bit about. I really enjoyed the conversation about the Internet of Medical Things. I want to come back to this 5G and industrial IoT and so forth. I literally, it's really interesting. I got off a call this week with one of the leading telecom providers here in the US, and we had this conversation about their use cases in industrial IoT. And for them, 5G doesn't really play so much into industrial, but you talked about that it will. I mean, I always have this question. Is it going to be Wi-Fi? Is it going to be 5G? Is it going to be low-band networks, or is it really going to be 5G? Let's just be a little bit philosophical about this.
Oh, you're gonna hate my answer because that's my answer is it depends, huh? Yes. So one of the 5G opens up.
Vodafone is on the panel.
Yeah, I really think there will be so many views. I so look forward to it. Actually, I will be moderating it personally because I was like, no, I will not miss this fun. I would love to do it. So here are different views. It's all use case dependent. For example, if I have a large factory and what I need to know is where to put my assets in the factory and how the occupancy and how basically what the space looks like, where are the empty spaces. I'm not going to worry about 5G. What I care about is like putting some smart sensors in the ground that will last for 10 years and are cheap. So I'll go for like some kind of a narrow band LPWAN option. So, and it's low cost. It's 10-year life of the battery, and it's so simple to implement. So yeah, that's already today. You can do that. Now, if you have the same factory that has satellite factories and super complex, collaboration with logistics, and then the end product is not a B2B product, it's B2B2C product, that you actually want to kind of take it forward towards even end customer. And you need to have a much faster exchange of the information and some of these kind of autonomous loops that everybody talks about, the autonomous processing, then you need to look into 5G. Yeah. So it's an example of like how you can in real time see the technical health of your entire plant and all the assets, because you don't need to worry about the packets of data because all data can be sent. It's about the amazing bandwidth. So what we're going to do is make it practical, 5G, because there is a lot of mystery about it. We're going to do a couple of pilots, and we have few customers in the Netherlands that want to connect, let's say, ambulances and conduct, let's say, a rescue operation. Somebody is having a heart attack. You have a long way to drive. What if you get stuck in an accident somewhere, along the highway? You're stuck in a traffic jam like I was today. That's why I'm sitting in the car still. So and you have a guy that or a lady that is having a heart attack. Now, a lot of times the ambulance personnel is not the best one to complete the full resuscitation mechanism. But if you have a 5G real-time streaming to the experts in ER, not just with instructions, but also with all of the data coming from the medical devices of let's say, all of the vital signs and responses to CPR actions, etc., you can be in a much better position to save somebody's life. And okay, this is an extreme situation that I'm describing, but it happens. How many people do die in the way to the hospital? And these are some of the elements that sort of, I think, touch the behavior and make it really relevant for us in the personal space. So it's not just industrial, but obviously the ambulance needs to be made, and there needs to be an infrastructure that makes it all possible.
So when you have, I wish I was going to be there. I want to sit in and listen into this panel because it's so interesting. So when you have this panel up there, what kind of are you envisioning will be the key views that are really divergent on these things? You mentioned some of them here, but any hypotheses on, where we're going to see a lot of, potential for growth in future collaboration, because the views are just really divergent today, whether it be societal or a technology view. Interested in some of those hypotheses and how it will be navigated on a panel like that.
Well, I'm not sure yet how we're going to manage to navigate it, because I think it's going to be a surprise for everybody. But I think some of the views would be, well, for example, one interesting topic, and this, some of the large players are taking that action in industries, is getting private bandwidth. They basically buy bandwidth from the governments, and they put everything on that bandwidth, and that gives them incredible control and visibility. And not every country, of course, will follow that route. So how all of that kind of be interplayed? What will happen with the topic of trust, I think, is going to be a very interesting one. Who is going to drive economically the 5G adoption is going to definitely come up in industrial space. Are the industrial players going to be looking at telco and say, hey, just let's invest in fiber, and let's invest in infrastructure, and you need to pay for it. And obviously that's not the answer that's going to be given. So then the topic of the ecosystem, why do you need so many players, right? How is it all going to kind of correlate with each other? So there will be a lot of interesting views.
So Helena, you're sitting in the car. Are you on 5G right now?
I'm on 4G. Unfortunately, no, 5G is not like adopted everywhere yet, but I wish.
So I was out and visited you, I don't know, maybe 2 years ago or something like this, and you have this awesome building called The Edge. But you told me you're building something called The Garage.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
It's going to be wonderful. And it's actually a historic landmark in Amsterdam. It's next to the old Olympic Stadium, and it used to be the garage of Citroën, and it was closed down, I think, in the 30s or something like that. So it's really old, and it has like the ramp going up that everybody who would be walking in would feel like they're walking into a garage. It's going to be our new home of digital, and it's going to be the maker space. And there are really tight rules applied who can be in the garage. So you are eligible to be there and take advantage of excellent infrastructure, the whole full spectrum setup for connectivity, for example, for your use cases, only if you're there with a client and only if you're solving a specific use case. So it's a co-creation, it's a maker space. It's going to be super dirty, like a garage. We'll have 2 rooms that will be kept clean for executive meetings, for like showcases, but the rest, it's going to be a lab. And we are very excited because this is for us. We do more and more with our hands and tools, and we want to show it, not tell you. And yeah, we are super excited.
The garage of Citroën. I'm sorry, for the Americans on the call who aren't into cars, who is Citroën?
Citroën, yes, also known as a lemon. It's not going to be yellow. It's probably going to be green, but
So Citroën is a big European car maker, right? And they've been around for a long, long time. And I remember when I was young, I wanted the Citroën Duck. It had a rollback window. It was like one of the really legendary cars. Anyhow, sorry, Kelsey interrupted you just to fill in on Citroën.
No, that's okay. The European cars are much more interesting than the American ones, so it's a good conversation to have. This makerspace is so interesting. So any like prototypes that you have going on that you can share, or specific things that you've built? I mean, do you have some 3D printers or rapid prototyping, or what kind of things do you have in there that people can really get dirty with?
Yeah, of course we have 3D printers. We have one company that they're not big, but they do 3D printing for R&D purposes in aerospace and defense and high tech. So it's a high precision prototyping equipment. So we have some of this standing there. Now we are trying to save environment by recycling plastic and building, doing stuff. It's really kind of, we have these beautiful printers set up, but also we'll be making prototypes. We already have our connected care lab where we are prototyping with connected medical devices and building sort of solutions around it. We are going to have several challenges announced to the market in a couple of months about future of different topics like future of mobility, for example, future of work, future of health, where we will bring all of the interested parties to co-create on these challenges. So we'll pick like the biggest challenges in different industries, or not even industries, it's topics, because industries are converging. It's too limited to say industry. So we will basically be co-creating with excellent partners of ours together in the garage, solving real problems that the clients are going to throw at us. So before the opening day, we'll solve some of these problems. On the opening day, we are going to demonstrate the results and show how it works.
Helena, we are almost at the end. This is going to be my chance for my last question, and I always like to ask something a little personal. So you're going to be in Barcelona, October 16th to the 18th. Where are you looking forward to going when you're not entertaining clients, when you're not at the Deloitte booth with green rubber ducks? What's the one or two things that you can actually seek out? And I'm not talking about evening stuff, just sort of like we're on the floor. What's the thing you're going to look out for?
Well, okay. So the business we talked about, the clients that are super important to us also talked about. So what I would love to do is take some of my clients together and go to the speakeasy bars. Barcelona has wonderful food, wonderful drinks, but they're also known for their speakeasy locations. So we have a couple of those that we know about. You cannot find them otherwise. So we'll probably be somewhere in the speakeasy behind the ice cream parlor, or maybe in a butcher shop, enjoying ourselves after the Congress, of course.
Well, that's awesome. Kelsey, did you want to say something?
No, I mean, this has been a fascinating conversation, and looking forward to hopefully catching up after Barcelona and hearing how the panel went and the ducks went over, as well as the Internet of Medical Things. Those are three just wonderful topics, and really something for everyone that's coming to visit. So it's been wonderful having the coffee with you this morning and this evening in the Netherlands.
Thank you. We still drink coffee this time.
Sure.
Thank you, guys.
Well, the coffee break is coming to a close. Helena, thank you so much for a great conversation as always. It's lovely to see you. Please join Kelsey and I again next Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, for another coffee with Mr. Connected and Mr. IoT. And by the way, if you missed any part of today's conversation, you can watch the episode again or any past episodes on my YouTube channel. With that, have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
Bye.